Hi, I wanted to kind of walk you through the app before you took a look at it, simply because we're looking at the app on the web on an app simulator, which means that it's not exactly the same way it's going to look on an iPhone, and or it doesn't function the same way. And what I really mean by that is that there are certain functions that are native to the iPhone and the Android which don't work on the app simulator. So what happens is people go, oh, this page doesn't work. So I thought what I would just do is do a video and walk you through it so that you wouldn't call me up and say, this page doesn't work. So I thought, spending 5 or 10 minutes doing this would be a lot better than you wondering about stuff. And probably, Daniel, you would have less wondering than most people. But anyway, so when it pops up, this is the image that people see as it loads. And then here we have the app. And so we have Cruise Free, which is just a bunch of videos about you talking about it. The cruise lines. Now you have to understand this is not a sales letter. Um, we want it to be a subtle sales tool, simply because if it was, Apple wouldn't approve it. So it has to be looked at as lots of great fun things for people to play with on their phone first, and then a way of getting people second. So we try to not show Apple what we're up to. So here, of course, are the cruise lines. Here are books on cruising, which of course are from the iBook store. Uh, so I figure they're quite happy because, of course, what we're really selling are their books. Here are cruise videos, which of course are YouTube videos that you have up. So we're trying to make it as multimedia as we can. Cruising podcasts, so these are podcasts people have about cruising. Send your photos. This is obviously we want people to cruise free, then we want them to take pictures and we want them to send their pictures to their friends or post them on Facebook. So that's what this function is about. And then follow is your Twitter account, your Facebook account, your LinkedIn, and that sort of thing, and also where the push notifications go. So once someone has this free app on their phone, what you're going to be able to do is send them little short messages. So it could be it's like a tweet, really, and it'll pop up on their phones. People will see them instantaneously. There's no spam. Of course, they have to agree to do that. They have control, not us. Here's where your another spot where your Twitter is. News is your blog, I believe, and then the contact. So the main idea for me for all of this was to get people to actually send you a message. And so I need an email that they can send messages to, and then from there they're on your list, I guess. Not sure how all that works from the integration into your side, but I mean at least you get an email from them saying they're interested. You can send an email back telling them where to go for uh, the edition. Okay. Um, yeah. Okay. So let's just cruise on through it. So here's a bunch of YouTube videos that I found talking about cruising for free, and of course you're from Amsterdam, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Copenhagen. So I thought that was good because it was kind of like proof. Plus, you talk a little bit more about cruising for free. And then we just have pages on the different cruise lines that you, now of course there's not contact information or anything, but this is just like generic information about each cruise line that I took from their website. Obviously we don't want anyone figuring out how to cruise free without buying a course. Here are cruising books that they can click on, it'll open up in iTunes and they can buy them. Cruise videos. Now this is one of those ones that doesn't show up, but what it actually is a whole pile of people who are endorsing you for the cruise course that you sell. Here's the podcasts, so a bunch of free podcasts on cruising that people can subscribe to. So we got the audio and the video covered. send your photo. This doesn't show anything, but basically there's a button up here that you click. You have another button over here. You take a picture, and then you decide if that's the picture you want or not. Delete it, and then click on send, and it'll either open up it'll open up a thing that says by email or by Facebook, and you can either post it to Facebook or send the email. And here's your follow. So this will go to your Facebook page, this will go to your Twitter page, this will go to your YouTube page, this will go to your LinkedIn. Here's the push notifications. So there'll be a form, HTML form code that I'll send you that you can put on a page somewhere that you can password protect so nobody else can send push notifications to your people just by finding that page somewhere. And then you just type in a little notification, you can send it off. I would recommend no more than one a day. Probably 3 a week might be a good number in around there. I'm not an expert on push notification marketing, so you just kind of have to check that out. And the page just looks like that, and the push notifications should appear underneath. These pages just look like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn pages. Then your Twitter, and then your news. So again, it's like, oh, there's nothing here. Well, this is just the code that goes and it gets each item, and it has this little icon instead of your picture, because when I did it with your picture and then I checked it, all this I check on my iPhone. The picture was like really big, and so this just gives a nice standardized picture. And then the contact. So they put their name, phone number, email address, contact us to discover how you can cruise free, and submit it. And away you go. So I thought it was a little dangerous to put a link to your audition page, simply because it wasn't mobile optimized, and the experience is what Apple is really concerned about a lot. So they they go through the whole app. Like an Android version, it's a total non-issue. We can probably add that in when we do the Android version, but for the Apple, like they're really like, no, this has to be all about the consumer experience, and we don't like salesy stuff, so I kind of shied away from it. Once it's approved, we can make some changes and we can add stuff and that sort of stuff, and it's less of an issue, but it's just kind of the first one. And as you can imagine, their big, I think their big selling point, and what's going to kill Android, is the fact that Apple checks them all out before they approve them. So there's no malware that gets through, there's no spammy stuff that gets through, there's no crap that gets through. Whereas every day 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 Android apps are taken down because they're full of malware and stuff that causes real problems for people's computers, phones. So I think one day there's going to be some sort of hello world virus that hits Android that's just going to shut the whole thing down, and nobody's going to want to get it because BlackBerry's claim to fame and their hitting the skids was how secure they were. Well, Android, nobody talks about how insecure they are. So anyway, that's kind of the strategy that I took with this. And the other thing that we'll be able to add to it is mobile ads. Okay, so it's like AdSense, except that you can do house ads, which are your ads. So what I would recommend is once we've got it approved and everything else, then we would put in place it's called admob.com, get an account there, make some house ads, put it up, and then what will happen on certain pages is you can change it, right? So what are you doing your webinar on this week? You can put that in and it'll rotate through. You can have a bunch of 5 or 6 or 7 ads that just rotate through, so you have some variety, and then you just keep adding in the new webinars that you're doing for people to join you there. So that's a more direct way of connecting with everybody, but not a way that I want to make too obvious at the beginning, simply because of the issues that I mentioned. So there you have it. Your cruise-free app. She's a beauty. And yeah, let us know what you think.